like to welcome you to the February 11th Town Board Meeting, Committee of the Whole. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Bill Carlos, Second Ward.
Michael Safone, Fourth Ward.
Ann Shershen, Sixth Ward.
Todd Tancredi, Supervisor.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Jim Nelson, Attorney for the Town.
All right, we just have a couple things on the agenda tonight. I don't think it'll be a very long meeting. First is a presentation concerning a walkway marathon that's coming to town this June. I want to welcome Elizabeth Wallstein-Hart. She's the Executive Director of Walkway Over the Hudson, and Suzanne O'Neill, who's the Program Manager. They're going to tell us a little bit about this exciting event and sign up volunteers for the marathon. Ladies, it's all yours.
Thank you. Supervisor Tancredi, Town Board members, thank you for inviting us. As always, I want to thank you for your public service. It's not required and everybody doesn't do it. And I know you all have things you could do, so I really appreciate that you're here tonight. And thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming.
We're very excited about a walkway marathon, and we think it's going to bring a lot of wonderful attention to the Hudson Valley. Town of Poughkeepsie is a major part of the route of the marathon and the half marathon, and we're looking forward to telling you about it. I first want to thank Supervisor Tancredi for the assistance and partnership you've already provided us. Suzanne O'Neill is a program manager at the Walkway. She's also a marathoner, and we have been working with some wonderful partners, as you'll see, to put this together for about 2 years. When the Dutchess Rail Trail was connected to the Walkway Over the Hudson, you all remember that little 0.8 of a mile that many of us worked to connect the rail trail to the walkway. And we realized at that time there was in fact enough primarily off-road trail to organize and run a full marathon. And that got our attention and got our imaginations going a couple years ago. And Suzanne and I will tell you some of the planning and work that's gone into it. And then, as the supervisor said, we're looking for your support to generate volunteers and to encourage the town of Poughkeepsie community to take part in this great event. The event is on June 13th. There will be 3 races simultaneously or on the same day. The 5K, which has been, which is a race that exists, and the half and the full marathon. The reason that we picked June 13th is we decided to hold it on the same day that the rooftops to treetops to rooftops. I'm dyslexic about that name, but the treetops to rooftops race has been held, the inaugural 5K on the walkway, which benefits the walkway, so we decided to combine these 2 exciting new races with that date. Also, we were looking for a time where it wasn't too cold, wasn't too hot, and we were trying to get in between some of the other big races in the area, Boston and Burlington and New York City, and there's a lot of races these days, so we picked that date. There's a lot of special things about this race. I mean, the special thing is that it's in the Hudson Valley, and it's running over the Hudson River, and we've got a one-of-a-kind race course and a one-of-a-kind scenic experience over the walkway for our runners. So with that, I'm going to let Suzanne jump into a little bit about the race specifics, and then I'll join her in a minute.
So as you can see from the first slide here, one of the really great strengths of this race is that it's going to be a fast and flat course for our runners. It really showcases the rail trail system as well as Walkway Over the Hudson. Another great thing about this is that it will be the first green race. We are getting it certified through Athletes for a Fit Planet. So we're seeking green certification for this race. What does that mean? That means we're going to have biodegradable cups. All of the food that will be left over at the end of the race will be composted or given to local food pantries. We are going to use repurposed wood that's local here for our medals. Our age division place, we're working with SUNY New Paltz, and we're going to create a environmental friendly age division award for each individual that receives one. So these are some of the things that we are looking to have within the race. Another great thing that we are proud to have is our partnerships that we work with within our community. And Elizabeth will talk about that now.
So at the top of the list is the city and the town of Poughkeepsie governments. We couldn't do it without you. There's a lot of policing and a lot of security that has to be done for this. Dutchess County has taken the lead on that. Supervisor Tancredi has been involved in some of the meetings or invited to the meetings, as has I think a couple of other members. So they will be taking care of all the traffic on the rail trail, on the roads in the town of Poughkeepsie. I know we talked about a baseball game and a couple of things we're going to look at. The races will begin and end at Marist College. Marist College is doing all the policing and parking and tenting down at the river, as is Vassar College, allowing us to use their boathouse. The Chamber of Commerce is doing some promotion for us. The Mid-Hudson Roadrunners Club is doing a lot of the legwork, no pun intended, but they have done a lot of the work. They're helping with a lot of aspects of the race. The Bridge Authority, of course, owns and operates the walkway, or doesn't operate, but owns the walkway, so they're integral to this. Parks will be securing the walkway portion of it. We go across the river, of course, because the walkway always tries to involve both sides, into Ulster County, the town of Lloyd, where runners will turn around, return, and come back down to the walkway. So we have the tourism agencies, the Chamber of Commerce, the county governments, the road runners, the colleges. It's been a fantastic partnership. Without this kind of partnership, the race would be very expensive. And in year one as an inaugural race, I'm lucky that the Walkway Board of Directors has authorized Suzanne and I and approved that we give this race our full attention. And we're not obligated to raise a lot of funds in year one because we just don't know. We do know that we have over 800 registrants already, primarily for the half and the full. So we have a cap of about 2,000. And if we get about 1,500 runners, we stand a good chance of breaking even on the race, given all the contributions of you and our other in-kind partners. We also, just to step back for 1 minute, what are we trying to do with the walkway? You all know the walkway's not done. The concrete ribbon is finished, and we're welcoming 500,000 people every day who walk, run, bike, and rollerblade and push strollers on the walkway. But we need running water, we need bathrooms, we need much more impressive entrances for our visitors that are coming from around the world. So we have a lot of work cut out for us. We also have had this fascinating new dynamic of people now coming up the elevator and coming out on the Dutchess Rail Trail, getting on the rail trail, all up and down 55 and at Gold's Gym and Page's and all the different places. So now we have this real dynamic of people on the rail trail and on the walkway with different modes and in different ways than we envisioned before. So it's very exciting that what we're seeing, the diverse and increased use of the walkway, a little bit of a change from people sort of going back and across. Bicyclists are doing longer trips, runners are doing longer runs, and our Facebook is up to almost 41,000 fans, so people are still very engaged in the walkway, and we want to work with you to really showcase what else we have to offer in this beautiful Dutchess County and Hudson Valley. Partnerships, again, are key. We have over 125 dedicated ambassadors who are our volunteers. Many of them live in the town of Poughkeepsie. And from the surrounding communities. You can see from the slides just some of the things we're working on to allow the visitor to have easier access to information. The mobile web tour tells about things that are happening in the area. Over time, we will redo the loop trail so that we'll have more sites. The new app that we have will allow somebody in, Didell Road, did I pronounce the road? Or out at Hopewell to say, gee, I want to eat, how long would it take me to get to the walkway? Or I need gas, where is it? So we're really looking at the whole expanse of this opportunity or this experience for people and helping them to find out what their opportunities are and what they can do. Of course, at the end of the day, it's about economic development. We all know tourism is one of the biggest contributors to our towns. You guys, town of Poughkeepsie seems to do very well, but benefits from tourists as well. So we need people coming in. We need them spending money in our hotels and restaurants and at our events. So we've tried to do some big events over the last few years. The 4th of July gets a lot of attention. The Guinness World Records have worked, and now we anticipate that this marathon and half marathon is going to become another event of that caliber. So I'll let Suzanne talk a little bit specifically about the race.
So I'm just going to go into the course just very briefly. If you take a look either at the slide or over on the board over there, you can see that our half and full marathon does begin and end at Marist College in Poughkeepsie, and then it then enters into the town of Poughkeepsie. So it's going to go up Fulton, just a very short way, onto Fairview, and then it will then enter onto the Duchess Rail Trail. For our half marathoners, it will turn around nearby Van Wagner Road, right past the Van Wagner Road area, and then head back on the rail trail to the walkway over the Hudson. They will enter the walkway around mile 9.5, mile 10. That's when they're just getting tired for the half marathoners. And then they will turn around.
I'm thinking about it. What are you kidding me?
They will then enter the Hudson Valley Rail Trail just for a short ways, turn around, and then go back across the walkway to Fairview, Fulton, to the finish. So they are going to see, and we're going to definitely need the help of Town of Poughkeepsie on those roads that we'll be utilizing. Also, for a full marathon, it does stay on the rail trail a little bit longer. It actually goes to about Didell Road, and then it will turn around and basically take the same route that I had mentioned for the half marathon. We do have water stations, as you can see on the map over here on the easel. They are in red, and those are really going to be needing a lot of volunteer support. We're looking for approximately 400 to 450 volunteers to make this a successful event. Each water station will need between 15 to 20 volunteers for the day, so that it will ensure our runners that they get hydrated and they stay safe out on the course.
We were all thinking about running the marathon, but you guys want to do the water instead? We'll sign up.
Great. That's what we need. Wonderful.
Suzanne, just say a little bit what's at a water station, just because for us non-runners.
Sure. So the water station basically has water in cups as well as Gatorade, and we do supply both at each station. Most runners will alternate between water and Gatorade, or some might just use Gatorade the entire time. But it really is beneficial, and it's also necessary because in June, it's an uncertain time. We could have cooler weather or we can have a really warm day. So we just want to be prepared, have enough volunteers out on the course at those stations, and make sure we have the water and the Gatorade available to our runners.
And then the spectator sites. Some of those are the same and some of those are different.
Yes, we are going to have cheer sections out on the rail trail, and that's another place where we're going to be needing help. We're going to be needing, we would like some music, and we really want the community to start coming out and really just being there to cheer on those runners. That rail trail can become lonely after a certain time with no one out there. So we really want to beef up those areas where there's parking and really have some nice cheer zones available.
And you can see when Suzanne is working with you folks too, so we have them all identified.
Yep. And they're also on the map there too. So we need your help in many ways. As I mentioned, we need a lot of volunteer support, but we also are constantly seeking financial assistance and sponsor either in kind or backing with your pocketbook to help support the race. Some of our lower level sponsors do start at $500, $1,000, $2,500, and then we also look for our title sponsors, which I had mentioned earlier. We're going to be going out to some bigger corporate sponsors to assist with the race.
Okay.
And we also have a running initiative called I Run for Walkway. We have many people that have partnered with us, and they're fundraising while they are in training. So they have already registered for the race, and they are reaching out to their friends and family to sponsor them. And those dollars will come back to support the Walkway organization.
I'll just touch on that because some people, there's a couple ways people can participate. One is when you pay your registration, which is very reasonable, $65 for the full, $45 for the half, and $25 for the 5K. So for the runners, it's affordable, and that will help pay for the cost. Sponsors then get a lot of benefits by having their name out on all the public relations that we're doing, all the press, and then day of the race, having banners and different sorts of digital acknowledgement for them. The money is going to benefit Walkway Over the Hudson. We are a 501c3 organization, and as you know, at any time I would tell people, oh, we could use about $5 million to get bathrooms and running water and finish all the projects, some of the projects on the walkway. So the I Run Walkway is a way for people to do that. Suzanne also has organized charity runs, and we have a few organizations that are running for another charity, and then they're going to get pledges and raise funds and then split it between their organization and the walkway. And we welcome people to do that because it's anything that encourages people to run and to support the nonprofits and many of the worthy causes, then we love to partner with them. The volunteer groups, why don't you jump into that?
Sure. So back to the volunteers. These are just some of the areas where we're going to be needing help that day. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to be a green sustainable race. So we have a green team that's going to be up to 100 volunteers assisting with Royal Karting and with our green team members to ensure the green certification, that it happens, and that we actually have documentation. We have to actually go back to Athletes for a Fit Planet to let them know that we had followed a specific criteria and document that. We also need help for our expo. Dutchess Tourism is sponsoring the expo on Friday from 2 to 8 p.m. at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. So we will need help there. Just answering general questions to the runners that come in. We'll need help with bib pickup and really just helping with setup and takedown of that event. The spectator sites, as I mentioned before, the parking assistance, assisting down at Marist College, and just at our start and finish line, so on and so forth.
Just a quick word about sponsors, and we're happy to contact anybody, any business, any vendors that you have or anyone that you think might want to help support the marathon. We'll certainly follow up with them, and there's lots of benefits that people get. But part of it is just being a part of it, and that's why we're coming to you, not only to thank you for your participation already, but when we met with Supervisor Tancredi and a few other folks, we're talking about things that some communities do to generate goodwill, whether it's certain places where you're showcasing some things about the town or places where you want to encourage people to come and cheer, student groups, scouts, sports teams. These are the sort of things that a town can encourage the coaches to bring their kids out. I mean, here's athletes. There will be some wheelchair athletes participating, and then there'll be some very highly qualified runners. There's going to be a whole gamut of people. So it's very inspirational message for coaches and teachers and parents, to be able to send out that message. So we can stay for a few minutes. I'm always happy to answer any questions about the walkway, whether it has to do with the marathon or not. But we're very excited about the project, and just again, thank you so much for having us here, and we appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. Does anybody have any questions? I think it sounds like an exciting event. We're glad we can be a part of it. If you have information we can put on our municipal channel,
Right.
particularly where
Great.
people can call or email to volunteer.
Wonderful.
We'll get that up right away if you can forward me that information, and
Great.
we're looking forward to it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
All
for being
right.
here.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right.
You have a lovely chambers here.
Thank you.
This is one of the nicest that we've been in. It's comfortable, it's inviting, it's,
A lot of the equipment you see, we acquired through grants and those type of efforts, so.
Yeah, nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why don't we do committee reports while we're switching presentations here, and then we'll move into the second presentation.
Nothing to report.
Finance,
Nothing to report.
Fire Advisory,
Nothing to report.
Government Ops,
Nothing to report.
Land Use and Planning,
Nothing to report.
Personnel,
Nothing to report.
Rec.
Mr. Myron will be taking care of the rec and
Yep.
the seniors.
Seniors, one note of interest that I came across my desk, AARP for 5 Fridays will be, giving seniors free tax preparation. So if there's seniors that are interested, they can dial 211, which is the United Way helpline, and get information, but that is available for seniors in the town. Technology and equipment
Nothing to report.
and infrastructure.
We had the meetings, but there's nothing to report.
All right. That moves us right into our next discussion. We have Mr. Myring. It's, I think, coincidental that, we're talking about a walkway marathon, and now our rec director is going to share with us some information and ideas we have about improving one of our parks for, I guess we're all thinking outside during this cold February night. So he's going to give us some thoughts and something we'd like to do with one of the parks to encourage, again, more passive but outdoor recreation. So Tom, whenever you're ready.
I'm waiting on the machine right now.
All right, well, that's all right.
How many people are interested in doing the 5K?
I think we do the whole marathon. It's been a long time.
5K.
I'm going to volunteer to hand out some water at the marathon.
Crack hour, I think of doing a 5K together.
Councilman Cracker's talking about running it.
The last 5K that I do, but
The one
and I
and
won't
only.
guarantee 5 actual K.
Tom, it's all yours.
Counts if you roll.
Okay, thank you, Todd. I think Ann, my secretary, has thought about doing the marathon.
Wow.
Not sure she's quite talked herself into it yet. She's working on it. The proposal I have tonight is a proposal of several projects that we want to do to renew Greenville Park. Greenville is a true town-wide park. It's 39 and a half acres. It's our busiest park and our most visible park. It's right on Route 376 between Vassar College and Red Oaks Mill, and it's very near the geographic center of the town. Greenville is an active park. It's the site of our day camp and our summer concerts. The soccer complex is the home of the Town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club, and I want to note that with the partnership with the soccer club, an irrigation and turf management program has now been implemented. The fields are looking in great shape. They get very, very good comments when they host other teams from other towns. Even teams that normally play on turf like to play on our fields.
Nice.
So
Good.
it's coming. It's come a long ways in the last few years. Also, we updated the playground there about 5 years ago. Last year, we put a new baseball backstop in. There's tennis courts, a basketball court, 2 small pavilions, and Wappingers Creek access, which is used for the annual Whitewater Derby as their ending point. We have several projects. The first one is to remove dead and dying locust trees and replant them with a memorial grove. Actually, the trees are gone already. We had money last year at the very end of the season that we were able to pay for removing 20 locust trees. We are losing about 7 or 8 a year for the last 5 years or so, and we just thought it was better to get rid of them all at this point because they were gone. We want to replant them with a memorial grove, meaning that if somebody wants a tree, they can donate money so that we have a tree planted in somebody's memory. We're still trying to figure out what the amount would be for, what would be an appropriate amount to cover our expenses for that. We want to replant with sugar maple, red maple, oak, and maybe spruce. So there would be a variety of trees there. Right now, there's already in that general area, it's the area between the playground and the current pavilion in that corner of the park. There's already walnut, there's some maples, there's cherry. So there's going to be a wide variety there. The other projects, the fencing along Route 376 and Greenvale Farms Road has definitely shown its age. We think it's probably 15 to 20 years old. It's a chain link fence, and it's not looking in good shape at this point. So we want to replace it with a fence similar to what we did around the soccer fields, which is in the top slide there, a post and rail fence. And it looks very attractive and it stands out nicely. And the other thing we want to do is build a new and larger pavilion up in the same general area. The pavilion that's shown there is the one at Hackett Hill Park and Hyde Park, and that's the size that we're proposing. 60 feet long with a floor that would be 26 feet wide and 6 feet overhang on each side. So you'd end up with a 32-foot wide pavilion. Long-term impacts, we replace healthy trees, we replace the hazard trees with the healthy ones. We better support our programs, the day camp and the summer concerts. We provide facilities for large group and community events. We're actually getting a lot of churches now that are inquiring about using, and have for the last several years, have used Greenvale Park as their place where they have summer picnics for their parishioners. We'll improve the appearance of the park and increase pavilion rental availability. Estimated costs, the tree removal has been completed. The tree replacement will be somewhere probably $2,000, fence replacement $1,250, and pavilion about $40,000. Funding sources, from last year's budget, we did the tree removal, and then we encumbered $10,000 more towards the pavilion. It was money that we had left over in some of our budget lines at the end of the season, and we've set it aside for us. In this year's budget, the park improvement line, there's $12,500 that we have that we can use. In the Recreation Trust Fund, we're going to ask $30,000 be used for this project. And then towards the Memorial Grove, we're hoping to offset the cost of the trees, which would be around $2,000. The next step, you would need to act on endorsing the plan and transfer funds from the Rec Trust Fund. And our time frame, we want to get it completed by July the 6th, which is the first day of our camp season. And the users of Greenvale Park want to thank you for considering our proposal.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
Hey, Tom, on the pavilion cost, did you put that out to a bid, or how'd you come up with that number?
Okay, we have right now we put out an RFP, and we have one that's been returned so far. We're looking for other people. We've faxed it out. We're waiting for other people to respond to it. That number is within the general guideline of what is the one RFP that was returned.
Did you look into the, well, to switch gears, but stay with it. In case of inclement weather, did we look at putting any of those roll-down curtains on at all? Like clear curtains?
That could
Have
be
you
a possibility.
considered I mean, because you're going to have the camps there. If it rains, you can keep the kids inside and wind doesn't affect them at that point. I mean, it's something we could put on and take off at our
Right.
leisure.
The rec committee had this discussion this morning,
Yeah.
matter of fact.
We're on our game, Mike. I'm sorry, recreation's still in.
My experience actually with the Hackett Hill Pavilion, because I worked up there for 10 years, is that with the 6-foot eaves on each side, that unless the rain is literally coming in sideways, you know,
You're
it
good.
doesn't get
Okay.
into with the center part. And we were able to fit a camp of roughly 150 under that pavilion up there.
Yeah, I think this is a really positive step forward for this camp. And of course, as we discussed at the rec committee, I'd like to see running water and bathroom facilities be the next step for it, because that would also be a savings. Not only would it be more pleasant, but it also be a savings in the future because you wouldn't have to bring in the porta potties.
Right.
Do we have access to sewer up there?
No.
Water?
That's the
We do have
problem.
water, but not sewer.
Right. But that's, certainly a goal. I mean, I think the first step is, as Tom outlined, is to just, the general improvement of this area. A pavilion can be useful to us in a number of ways, a bigger pavilion and a better looking pavilion. I just think as we continue to try to improve our parks, that's a positive impact that the residents, see every day and will enjoy and be able to, benefit from.
Do we have to act on both those proposals tonight, or do we?
No.
Do it next week?
Next week, the only proposal we need to act upon technically is the movement of the money from our trust fund to fund this. Once we, get the RFPs in and get solid numbers on the pavilions, we'll do that as we go along.
Okay.
We don't need an actual endorsement, but as long as I don't hear anybody here jumping up and down saying, no, we shouldn't be doing it, I take that as an
I
endorsement.
think there's a
of the board.
consent of the board to go ahead. I mean, I haven't.
I think it's a great idea.
One other question, the old pavilion, can that be taken apart and utilized anywhere else in another park without scrapping it?
We, at this point, have not really decided what we want to do with it. There's one school of thought that we leave it where it is and, put this new pavilion in a slightly different location. There's another school of thought that we take it down. We have thought about possibly converting that in the future into the bathrooms, because you already have the roof and you just put sides on it and, put your floor in and whatever. So, for now, I don't see it coming down right away.
Okay, and after we transfer the funds out of the rec fund, how much money is still left in the rec fund?
$3.
No.
A little bit more than $3.
I was doing this for the comfort of the
99 cents.
public to know that we're not draining it.
Right. We will have roughly $100,000 left.
Okay.
But to keep in mind that the rec trust fund, so everyone knows, what that's contributions developers make to our recreation trust fund when they build, so that money's not tax money, it's set aside from development, and it's to be used for capital improvements in, areas of recreation. So that's kind of what it's there for. Anything else? Everybody squared away? All right,
Looks to
Tom.
me, Tom, like there's consent here, so.
Thank you very much.
Tom,
Thank
what's the date for the St. Patty's Day dinner for senior citizens?
Okay, that is March
cooking,
the 18th.
You're cooking, aren't you? So I hope you.
March the 18th at the senior center. Anybody interested can give the senior center a call or Tom's office a call to sign up. We had over 100 people last year, and hopefully we can get a lot more. Todd will be serving, Ann and Stefan are both serving this year, so.
And when does that fall on?
It's a Wednesday.
Felicia will be helping serve now.
I'd like to serve. if I
March
could.
18th at the.
During the day or?
Senior Center, St. Patty's Day.
Afternoon or?
Yeah, noon time.
Yeah.
Oh, as long as.
I'm going to help him cook.
Good.
That'll give everybody.
Then we're gonna run the marathon.
All right, Tom, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I think that brings us to the end of our agenda. Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to share? All right, I make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Town board adjourns at 7:35 PM.